a run Daniel has been on. Just a couple weekends ago, he got top 4 at the Gdansk Regional Championships.
Yeah, that's a ride you want to continue to stay on here. Looks like he's doing just that now in his way to potentially the finals here, but he has to work his way through Miloslav on the other side with some great results coming off the back of the top 16 there at the 2024 World Championships, and some other great results there. Also has been to this stage the top 32 at LAIC in 2023.
Yeah, Daniel as well had a top 16 at the World Championships this past season, but it was in the seniors division. He is a first-year Masters Division player, and he finds himself just a few months into this still young season with already 2 top 4s under his belt. He's looking to improve on that last finish here now.
I mean, I guess you get to improve on that. It seems unreal that you have that opportunity so early in your Masters Division career, but sure enough, here we are. They even have the same sleeves, Chip.
Same sleeves, same home country. I wonder if they sat next to each other on the plane. I'd have to imagine so, and they find themselves here now on the biggest stage. It's all smiles up front, but inside, I'm sure these players are feeling it at least a little bit. You know, there is so much on the line, such a huge moment. A 60-card mirror match is what separates one of these players from getting into the final match.
Yep, Daniel with that 10-1-1 record did not have to work through the asymmetric cut. Miloslav, what is happening? That is 4 grass energies. Thankfully, it is 8 in the list, but yikes.
4 grass energy, Squawkabilly for Daniel, Hisuian Gudra V-Star for Miloslav. That's a pretty big card in the mirror match.
I mean, double Teal Mask Ogre Pawn, double research? How do you set up?
It's going to be an interesting one here, Kyle. That is for sure. These players are playing 4 copies of the Teal Mask Ogre Pawn, so Daniel, as long as he can find some nest balls, should be feeling okay. Won't have the extra reach of the Squawkabilly EX. It is sure to be an interesting match here.
Well, you can't complain about the deck list when you're looking at your opponent saying, they set up and I didn't. It's just that. No, you've got the same one on the other side.
I'm sure you've been in this situation before, Kyle, where in a tournament, you've worked on a list with a friend, you end up playing each other at some point along the way. You know each other's 60 so well. You're friends, you've tested and worked together for so long. You know, what is the feeling these players are feeling in this moment?
Right, I mean, there's a sense of pride that comes with this opportunity that you have. You want to prove to yourself, and maybe even to your friend, that even though we both made the same decision, I might be the better pilot this time around.
Miloslav is going to kick the game off with his best possible opener. That Cleffa in the active spot. Grasping Draw able to fill the hand back up to 7 cards, and he's going to also find a nest ball, able to search the deck for a basic Pokemon, putting it directly onto the bench. It will be the Regidrago V, looking to become a Regidrago V-Star on the next turn in order to start launching off attacks as early as turn 2.
Yeah, my favorite art there as well. Basically wishing upon a star, and it's exactly what Cleffa needs to do in these spots. Sometimes it is just the perfect bailout button. Finds you that exact refill that you need for your hand in order to end up with that big turn 2 attack. But you can also bank on that 1 retreat cost, maybe that 0 retreat cost, giving up that 1 prize card if your opponent gets off to that aggressive start. So many benefits to this Pokemon.
So these lists, obviously the same 60, but they are both including cards here that are not the most standard in the Regidrago list. We talked about the Hisuian Gudra V-Star a little bit. There's also that Haxorus in this deck list.
Yeah.
How could those 2 cards play into this mirror match?
Yeah, it gives you that extended reach that you have when you're trying to reach some of those optimal math points, 230 damage, but it's not exactly what you're looking for. It seems like this is already pretty optimized by way of that Giratina V-Star, and it could be fairly similar to what we saw in our top 4A match.
Yeah, potentially between the Haxorus and the Giratina V-Star, maybe the decision of what's better, lost zoning energies from play or discarding the top 3 cards of your deck if you're KOing a Teal Mask or something like that. We'll see how these prize maps end up working out for each of these players. Miloslav with the Grass Energy attachment to the Regidrago V. That's all he's got. We're back over to Daniel Magda now. Kicking things off, has that Teal Mask Ogerpon EX in the active spot. Bench of the Regidrago, boss's orders, and a pass.
We talked about it with the prize cards there, Chip. This is exactly the kind of turn you'd expect when you see all of those resources just sitting there. Multiple research, multiple Teal Mask, and the Squawkabilly. Oh. Sure enough, your opponent's got it all.
Miloslav taunting Daniel a little bit. 3 research going down, drawing 7 new cards, and does get rid of that Giratina V-Star, so there is an attacking option in the discard pile already. Miloslav will still need a little bit of help if he wants to get to an attack, but a Regidrago V-Star is a good start.
Well, we know about the 4 grass energies that are in the prize cards, but there's no way to even search out an energy in this hand. It was 6 Pokemon in a switch.
Filling the board, and then now Cleffa's Grasping Draw will fill the hand up to 7 cards. Plenty of energy cards found now, but a little bit of a breath of fresh air for Daniel.
He needs 8 breaths of fresh air. He's got a boss's orders, and he passed. Finds the Earthen Vessel now.
That can give you a card.
Sometimes that's all it takes. You get that 1 additional energy, that 1 draw from the Teal Mask Ogerpon, and perhaps you find that supporter. It's going to get the counts now, and they're not good.
They're not great as far as the supporters go, but if Daniel has like the Dragapult, or not the Dragapult, excuse me, the Regidrago V-Star, or if he can find it on Teal Dance, I think he's actually got Prime Catcher in his hand. This Earthen Vessel discards the Haxorus. It's a little bit of a stretch, but depending on what else he has made up, there is a world where he could find a 2-prize KO here.
Yeah, it still has to bank on that final Teal Mask Ogerpon in order to get the final energy on the board, though. So you're asking a lot of your deck at this point in time, and it hasn't been too faithful to you. You see how it's working for your opponent.
Yeah, I mean, step 1 is finding something off of this Teal Dance to work with. It's got to be a Miracle 1 card. Professor's Research wouldn't be too bad, that is for sure. Let's see what's able to be found here. There are 2 research prized, only 2 left in the deck. Can he find a miracle from just a single card draw?
Certainly looking for some help, and it is tricky to find. A big hand.
Card.
Another Earthen Vessel thinning. Is it winning?
In general, yes. In this game, probably not. We are going to see 2 energies being found. 1 can be attached for turn. He has that Prime Catcher. Do we have to see a stalling play? Prime Catcher bring up the Regidrago V. Miloslav's burned the switch. Force your opponent to use their V-Star power.
I don't even know if you'd like that. It would probably involve retreating first because you don't want to lose your Regidrago V on the back.
It's a tough situation. Daniel's going to have to try to find a way to navigate out of it.
Oh, big shake of the head. Has no idea how to work out of this spot. It is the Prime Catcher. Are we just going to look at some cards here, Chip?
Celestial Roar?
No. Okay, good.
Switch back into this Teal Mask Ogerpon and the pass. Miloslav with the draw for turn. It is another Grass Energy. We're going to see some more cards drawn here.
I did not think we'd be uttering those words without any Earthen Vessel played, but that is the 3rd Grass Energy. Actually, all 4 now can be seen. You might not even know the prize cards are that bad.
And I think Miloslav has the attack lined up. He has an energy switch in hand, has a basic fire energy, and he can use his V-Star Power Legacy Star in order to get the switch back from the discard pile.
So often when you're using Legacy Star, you want it to be in combination with some of those energy switches you've already used so that you can bring those back. If you're using 5 energy switch in a game, it's pretty likely that you're dominating.
You got to find the balance here as Miloslav. You want to be aggressive. You want to start to put on the pressure, but you don't want to burn too many resources.
Oh, there it is. Thankfully, already has one of those energy switch, so using Legacy Star now has to feel pretty optimal.
Will do that, discarding the top 7 cards of the deck, sending them down, able to put 2 cards now from the discard pile back into the hand. Looks like 1 energy switch was discarded. We may just see 2 energy switch being found here. Doesn't even have to use that actual switch since he was able to do this and is actually going to be able to grab the boss's orders here in order to target down Daniel's Regidrago V.
Did we get a look at the rest of the discard pile? Is there a way to copy a Haxorus? I don't think so just yet, but you'd have to think that'd be an optimal attack in a spot like this. You don't have to lose the energies to take this knockout.
I don't think there is a way to get the Haxorus down here. He has to get the boss if he wants to go after the Regidrago. He has to get the energy switch to power up one of his attackers. So I don't think there's going to be a way to get the Haxorus. Miloslav, with 4 energy cards being prized, has to think twice about this move. He will go for it. He's going to commit to the Lost Impact, will lose 2 energy cards. And he should know that he's got a decent shot to take a couple energy cards here. And based on the way it's lined up, he should just be taking 2 grass energy. But this is a awkward spot without a doubt.
Right, I mean, look at the rest of the hand. It's just Pokemon you want in the discard pile. None of those resources there. 3 research are down, and you're drawing into a ton of grass energies. Yes, you can use the Teal Mask Ogerpon and to continue to draw back up, but this might be a little slower than you'd expect. You can't complain, though. Your opponent's got a Teal Mask.
Miloslav here debating which 2 prize cards to take. I actually think he took from the top. He did indeed. Funny enough, he takes from the top, he takes from the bottom.
It's all the same here, buddy.
It is indeed 2 grass energy being found. Now it's back over to Daniel. You need a miracle here. Draw for turn is the superior energy retrieval. 1 card can be drawn with the Teal Dance. It's a fire energy. You can go down swinging with the Myriad Leaf Shower, but Miloslav has the grass energy, has the Lost Impact, gets the game 1 win here in top 4.
Not even 9 minutes into this opening game here, and we see that quick victory from Miloslav. It has to be a little bittersweet. You didn't really have to do much, but thankfully on your side, you found all of the energies. It didn't seem likely, Chip, but all 4 grass energies were thrown down by turn 3.
No Earthen Vessel played at all that game, is that right?
Yeah, we did not see it. We saw plenty on the other side for Daniel. He didn't want them.
Yeah, that was not the card Daniel was looking for. And Miloslav was able to find his energy cards without that card.
Well, we see both players still all smiles here. There's a great opportunity here for Daniel to still make a great match out of this just yet.
Yeah, and I think this is a recognition from Daniel of the moment here. He is a young player, but he's an experienced player. He's been on some of these big stages. He's had some great tournament finishes. He knows that he didn't do anything wrong. All he can do is shake it off and move on to game number 2. Forget that game 1 ever happened and try to focus on what you can control. Let's look at what happened in that game 1. As uneventful as it may have been, this was game 1, and it was Miloslav eventually getting the win.
Yeah, shout out to production for finding a replay. We've been looking for it as well. There's not much. Big smiles all around, and both our players tried to give us a great showing, and there was just not much to be had, Chip.
Not too much to be had. Our replay consisting mostly of the glamour shots here because there was just not much attacking going on. Miloslav did finally launch an attack off with the Lost Impact, took the first 2 prizes. Daniel's just got to shake it off. We're heading to another.
We don't even get to watch the leaf shower? Come on.
Yeah, Daniel at least did attack that game. Come on.
He put damage on him. That's the moral victories here.
Players setting up now. Game number 2. Daniel will have the opportunity to choose first or second here. Have to imagine first will be the choice. Getting the first evolution, getting the first energy attachment, getting the first attack. All such vital things in this mirror match.
Yeah, Daniel takes a look at his opening hand, but it will not be the case. No basic Pokemon, and sure enough, it was like 4 dragon Pokemon and a professor's research. He's like, can I at least have that hand next time? that would have been working just dandy.
I think things would have been a little bit better for Daniel if his prize cards had been his opening hand.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to completely change your fate here in the TCG. And maybe we'll see that happen here for Daniel now. He's given his opponent some additional cards. It's never the way you want to start things off.
A little note from backstage as well. Regardless of who moves on to the finals, this finish will propel both of these players into the top 4 of the standings currently over in Europe. That is huge heading into the next IC. That will lock up both of them getting a travel award.
They could do it again. Same flight. What deck are we playing, brother?
Lining up for the future here, and that is one of the great things about performing well at these tournaments. You earn stipends to compete at future international championships. That's how Brent Tonneson has done it for so many years. And now Daniel Magda and Miloslav Posledni are able to do just that as well.
And over here for Miloslav, just continues to do what he's been doing. Cut the deck. Hopefully your opponent doesn't see an additional resource, additional basic Pokemon. You just get all these free cards. You can't give Regidrago free cards, and that's number 3 now.
That is 3 mulligans for Daniel. Miloslav will get 3 additional cards to the hand. Not only is it the last thing you want to do in the matchup, it's the last thing you want to do when you're down a game.
It's the last thing you want to do as a caster, too. I want to get into the action. We've almost mulliganed more than we played turns.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, there's been more shuffling during this setup for game number 2 from Daniel than there was in all of game number 1.
Well, 3 additional resources now for Miloslav. If his hand wasn't good, then it will be now.
Here we are, Miloslav with one more shuffle for his friend, testing partner. See if we can find 7 cards that contain a basic.
It was just a cut before. Now Miloslav's trying to do him a favor. Says, I'm sorry, those weren't working. I'll give you the full shuffle, and we'll get this game going.
And Daniel says, I'm going to cut your shuffle.
And then ruin it.
7 cards being found. We see the head bob from Daniel. Is there a basic? There is indeed. We're ready to get this game underway. 3 additional cards here from Miloslav. Prize cards already being placed out once again. That Hisuian Gudra V-Star.
Double Teal Mask as well. And these are the prize cards you want to see if you're Daniel. That's something you can work with.
Yep.
And having a research at the bottom.
Yep, something you can take later on in the game. Prizing the energy switch, not the best, but you got to prize something somewhere along the way. Daniel does get the starter of that Squawkabilly EX. And did he pass, or did he choose to go second?
Looks like choosing to go second here. Still 6 cards in the hand.
Interesting. Yeah, Miloslav is going first. That is a bit of a surprise, I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know if I've seen that, and it's interesting to note, but I mean, we see a huge hand here from Miloslav, and it hasn't culminated into much just yet. Thankfully now the Ultra Ball and getting some of those Dragon Pokemon into the discard pile. It's unusual to see 2 non-Vs thrown in the discard pile like that.
Yeah, but still 2 Dragon Pokemon that you can copy with Apex Dragon. That Haxorus being one that we could see pop up. I don't think we'll be seeing a Trifrost this game. I mean, there is the world where people go for the double, yeah,
the double triple,
the double Trifrost. A little difficult to do in this matchup where most of your opponent's benched Pokemon are going to be Teal Mask Ogerpon, which have the Terra attribute. So I think it's unlikely we will be seeing that. But still a great setup here for Miloslav, using this Ultra Ball, finding out the Squawkabilly EX. Looks like we're going to see a Squawk and Seize.
Yep, sometimes you catch an opponent slacking, they throw down Squawkabilly, Mew, and Pheasantipity, and then it's like, oh, yeah, we'll just go for that. I'd like to win in 2 attacks.
So even with all those extra mulligans, it does still have to be the Squawk and Seize, but might not be too bad. It might be what Miloslav is fine doing, especially going first in this game. Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that decision there from Daniel, because I don't know that he's got a way to really efficiently attack turn 1. Sure, you could power up a big Myriad Leaf Shower from a Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, but that doesn't seem like a winning strategy. I don't know.
I wonder if Miloslav would do the same here in a game 3, but we'll just have to find out when we potentially get there. And this is a benefit of playing this style with the superior energy retrieval. When you're throwing away energies like this on the opening turn with Squawkabilly, you're not feeling endangered, but oh, you just drew 3 more.
That is so many energy cards found this early. We see even an Earthen Vessel discarded that was not even played because he didn't want to discard any more energy cards.
I don't want to draw any more energy. Finds 3 more energy.
That is certainly less than ideal. Not much else here left to do for Miloslav. Could bench the Mew, could play the Ultra Ball. I don't know that you really want to put anything else down.
I mean,
there are 2 energy on this Regidrago V, and it's the only one in play.
Oh, you're thinking about the Leaf Shower potential.
We'd need a lot of energy cards, and it would be at risk of being responded to by Miloslav's own Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. But is this the reason why Daniel chose to go second?
I mean, if you're prepared for this, then that is very impressive, because I don't think you expect to see your opponent with multiple energies in the active spot like this. It does end up that way, and we're seeing plenty of energies thrown to the front.
All smiles from both of these players, recognizing the situation, but also recognizing the importance of the game here, their friendship, the things that have gotten them to this point. Search of the deck with the Earthen Vessel from Daniel. Does find out 2 Grass Energy. Gonna take a moment to check the rest of the prize cards, figure out what he does not have access to. So we got that Regidrago prize, the Energy Switch. These are all important things to know.
Right, and you take note of all of these cards so that you have an understanding, especially when you start to draw through these pieces. The game moves quickly. When the knockouts start, they don't stop. So you have to be prepared to know every resource that'll be available, especially when you're throwing away cards like this.
Yeah, so if Daniel wanted to reach for a knockout this turn, it would mean finding an Ogerpon with 5 energy cards on it.
I don't like that.
You can do it. You need all 4 Ogerpon in play. You need 3 energy switch. You need to attach for turn. That's 5 energy. That's a turn 1 KO. Maybe what we're going to see here actually is the turn 1 motivate from Daniel.
Yeah.
Is that what he's thinking?
You got to appeal to the troops, Chip. You know, sometimes they're lacking motivation, especially after a lackluster performance in game number 1. Squawkabilly will lead you to victory, but we need another Pokemon down to help out.
Yeah, let's see what the rest of this hand contains, and it is not much.
I don't
Is that
dislike
a
this.
nest ball on the end? Yeah, we do still have Squawk and Seas, of course, worth remembering. We are going to see a Teal Dance. There's a Regidrago V already in the hand, which it looks like will be benched now. Another nest ball to be played, searching for one more basic Pokemon to put down. Another Regidrago V being the grab.
Yeah, I didn't see the other Dragon Pokemon. I believe it was the Giratina along with the Dragapult that were in the discard pile. So already 2 of your most precious attackers are going to be lined up there. And now you get to have a full refresh here along with not even playing your supporter for the turn.
And it is going to be just an attachment to this Regidrago V. Daniel perhaps looking for a way to move this Squawkabilly to the bench. I think if you want to do that, maybe attaching to it. At this point, maybe he's just hoping to draw into the switch plus Cleffa. I don't know, man. I got a lot of questions.
Prime catcher, there's a few ways to use your resources. None of them seem optimal at this point. Attachment to the active, probably where I would have leaned to.
6 cards found off the Squawk and Seas. There's Earthen Vessel, Regidrago, V-Star. There is that switch.
What do we know? Just find the switch on the top 6.
I don't know if I see an out to Cleffa, though. We can find one more card here with the Teal Dance. It's another Grass Energy. There is the switch indeed into another Ogerpon. Something that's a little bit more difficult for Miloslav to KO. He'd have to go for something like the Haxorus. And we have not even seen a supporter play just yet, so it will be Iono. There is still an opportunity to get into Cleffa here.
And that is the one thing Miloslav did not want to see on the other side. There was an opportunity for a huge turn 2 Regidrago V-Star attacking, and instead now has to bank on finding it here from the next 6 cards.
And he does find Cleffa here. With this Ultra Ball, he can thin the hand down, also get the Cleffa out of the deck, retreat into it, Grasping Draw, refill the hand, and he'll force Miloslav to find a way to gust a Pokemon from the bench.
Yep, considerations there with that Ultra Ball, and sure enough, will do just that, featuring the same art now, and you have to love it. The opportunity to sneak in the single prize Pokemon. Also, a free retreater in a game like this, always a welcome sign.
Very nice to have a pivot available. So many of these energy acceleration style of decks really appreciate just having that additional mobility to work with. Miloslav going to give the deck a shuffle. We will more than likely see the retreat of the Ogerpon into Cleffa, and Grasping Draw will be the move, drawing 4 cards from the top of the deck.
Well, if there were ever a turn to show your opponent, don't let me go first, it is right here, right now. Miloslav taking a look at all those resources. There is a Regidrago V-Star in the hand, even post-Iono.
Yeah, let's take a look here at what Miloslav is working with. It looks like Ultra Ball lined up. Iono is the potential supporter. What's your dream scenario here as Miloslav? What would be the best thing to do on this turn?
I'd like to have a prime catcher or boss's orders in a spot like this. Put some pressure on my opponent on a relevant Pokemon. Knocking out this Cleffa doesn't really do too much. There's a world where you even take a simple knockout on a Pokemon like the Squawkabilly and set up some damage, or if you can remove that Regidrago with the Grass Energy. But that takes a lot more resources. You do have Haxorus this time, though.
He does have Haxorus, so really, I guess all he would need is the energy card and the boss's orders, really.
Sure.
I do believe he has the Regidrago V-Star in the hand. Not sure if there was an energy or not already.
Did not see those. We know plenty of those went to the bottom of the deck.
Yep. And we know there for sure was not a boss's orders as well. So it could come down to a Legacy Star dig, but so often these players really want to value hanging on to Legacy Star until later in the game. This is going to get the energy, though. It's going to be the Giratina discarded with this Earthen Vessel.
Yep, an opportunity to see with the double grass energy. You need one of those on the active Pokemon in order to line up that Apex Dragon. But drawing with the Teal Mask Ogerpon will be beneficial as well. Maybe that one card will help make this decision a little more clearer, because I can't tell if you want to use Legacy Star or Iono right here. Neither feels great.
Another thing for Miloslav, he probably wants to establish another Regidrago V's.
Yeah, you need to continue to maintain threats here, and if you're presenting Regidrago V-Stars over and over again, that leads to the Radiant Charizards down the line, and that's when you can slow down.
Teal Dance attaches this grass energy to the Ogerpon, draw of a single card. It's a Professor's Research.
That's pretty good.
It's not a boss's orders, but that is not too bad.
You don't miss out on, I mean, your opponent did just use Cleffa, so Iono could be a way to disrupt there, but I like seeing an additional card.
We are going to see the evolution of Regidrago V-Star in the active spot, attached for turn, and looks like Iono is going to be the play.
Yeah, values having that additional Regidrago V-Star for later on in the game. It is a 3-3 line, but every time you don't discard one of those and eventually walk in with that Haxorus, you certainly like that.
Do we see an out to another Regidrago V here in the hand currently for Miloslav?
Yep, but I believe that was a Nest Ball. No, it was a Night Stretcher. Man, these silly cards. He's like, oh no.
Yeah, there is no Regidrago. I wonder if this is going to pressure him into using his Legacy Star right now.
He's shaking his head, thinking about it.
It's not the time you want to use it, but
absolutely not.
You got to get another Regidrago down.
I mean, this is all to attack into a Cleffa as well.
That is something that Miloslav is probably considering. How worth it is it? And he may be debating going down a different line. He's got his own Cleffa in the discard pile. Night Stretcher can bring that back, and I think he drew into his switch.
Oh, well, both players finding that switch at the optimal time just to slow down. Miloslav needed that. And it looks like this Regidrago V-Star is safe for now.
Okay, this is a nice opening here for Daniel. After a disastrous game one, after your opponent whiffing an attack here in game number 2, this is exactly what you need.
It's not safe for now. It's not safe for now. There's a boss's orders. It's already there. The Giratina V-Star is in the discard pile as well.
Daniel had everything he needed off of that Iono. Miloslav gave him the perfect combination of cards.
He waved goodbye.
Bye-bye, Regidrago V-Star. 2 prizes to Daniel, and he takes a dominant lead. Miloslav does not have a Regidrago V.
This is not a deck that features Thornton. This is not an opportunity right now to find a relevant attacker. I don't even know if you could knock out that Cleffa if you needed to this turn. There's nothing here for Miloslav. This is a full reset, and you've used the Iono already. You're slowing down in terms of ways to disrupt your opponent who hasn't used their V-Star.
Wow, what a swing of events here in game number 2. It is not over just yet, however. Miloslav will go for the Teal Dance, grabs one more energy card, does find it looks like Professor's Research. He's got 2 boss, 2 research in the hands. Those are good cards, but typically at this point in the game, you want more options.
Yeah, we're not seeing those resources right now starting to line up. Regidrago V, that can be played on the bench, but you might want to do that in combination with another one if this card is also bosses ordered away, which is very likely given that your opponent has Legacy Star.
Miloslav
you're going to be in trouble.
Could go for boss's order to try to buy a turn, but Daniel has not used his Legacy Star. We know Switch is already in the discard pile, so he could always bring it back. Really tough position here. Miloslav will find the Mew EX off of the Nest Ball.
Oh, just genome hacking?
Copy your opponent's Apex Dragon. It does work.
There's a wombo combo lined up, and that is also a way to take the target away from this Regidrago V on the bench.
Okay, I mean, I wouldn't have seen this coming, but That is a possibility here. Attached to the Mew EX, double energy switch. This is what we're going for. Energy Switch 1 has already been used in Restart to draw one single card. What is the find? It's a Dragapult. You don't mind discarding that. Here is the research. Needs an energy card. There it is. Needs an energy switch. Does he find it?
Last chance. Did not see that, but there's still hope. You have the Teal Mask Ogerpon draws. The Earthen Vessels are right there, and you are so slim right now. Sub 10 cards in the deck.
This would be a heck of a play here from Miloslav. Genome hacking to copy Apex Dragon, to copy the attack of a Dragon Pokemon in your discard pile. Now, how many of these Teal Dances has he used? Has he not used either of them?
I don't think we've seen either.
Draw for that Teal Dance. It is the Regidrago V-Star, but there's no more grass energy, no more dig. Miloslav cannot win from this position. He says, let's send it to a decisive Game 3.
Daniel with some masterful play that time around, showing off exactly what his deck is capable of. Miloslav not able to find the resources there. A bit of the tide turning now, and maybe our newly aged up master is feeling a bit of relief.
He did what he could in that game, had a solid strategy. What I'm interested to see now is what is Miloslav going to choose to do?
Right, is he just going to say, yeah, I still want to go first. I don't know why you did that.
I mean, I have to think that the main reason to go second is so you can use Cleffa. You can have a higher chance to put that one prize Pokemon on the active spot. It is pretty difficult for your opponent to have the combo of Boss's Orders or Prime Catcher plus getting the optimal Dragon Pokemon, but I mean, it's a possibility. Let's take a look at the replay. Let's see how things worked out in game number 2. It was Daniel choosing to let his opponent, Miloslav, go first in this game.
Maybe switching the history books for us here now. The big decision that ends up paying off. Wave goodbye to the lone Regidrago V-Star on your opponent's side of the board. But Miloslav identifies a really niche way to come back in this game, attempted to bring us that Mew for the genome hacking. It was not the case, though.
Man, that would have been really cool to see the Mew copying the Regidrago to copy another attack. It almost all came together.
It's just like our Regidrago V-Star and your Regidrago V-Star. We're going to copy your copy.
It's like that question of what happens when you genome hacking a genome hacking. Like, where does the loop break?
Well, you got to ask a judge. We've got plenty of them.
We do indeed. Judge has been doing a great job all throughout the weekend. Our stream judges, our floor judges, head judges alike. It's been an excellent tournament thus far. Things have been run extremely smoothly. We've just got a few more games of Pokemon action to be played here. We're going into Game 3 of Top 4. This is the deciding game for both of these players. Will they go home or will they move on to the finals?
No easy buckets this time around. We don't see the mulligans. Both players putting those prize cards to the glass. We'll find out a lot about our players right here. It's going to be a gritty Game 3 with the best card in the active for both of them.
Yeah, both of them starting that Cleffa on turn 1. And interesting to note, it is Daniel going first. That means Miloslav chose to go second.
He doesn't believe in the strategy, and I don't either. Miloslav wants that opportunity.
No, Miloslav does believe in the strategy.
Yeah, that's right. It is there for him.
He does believe.
I still don't know if I like it, Chip.
They both are on the same page here. Choose to go second in this mirror match, and I have to wonder if that decision is what has propelled them to this point.
Yeah, maybe this is the answer to these mirror matches. You have to be playing against plenty of Regidrago in order to get to this position, and I mean, we see now there's a pretty solid setup here, and you give yourself that opportunity maybe to be the first player to have a good boss's orders.
Prizes didn't feel too bad there for Daniel. Looks like he's going to have a decent setup this game. We do see Nest Ball being used, a Teal Mask Ogerpon put into play from the hand, the Regidrago V grabbed from the deck, and we do have another Ultra Ball now being played.
It's eyeing up some more help here, and this is an aggressive setup if you go for the Squawkabilly, throwing away all of these resources in order to set up for a big knockout. This is the strategy that we're used to seeing. The player that goes first, gets aggressive, lines up that turn 2 knockout, and puts so much pressure in the mirror match.
Looks like it is the Squawkabilly being found. Squawk and Seize more than likely incoming to discard the hand, drawing 6 brand new cards. Trying to just get through the deck, hoping to find more Dragon Pokemon to put into the discard pile. Of course, still can attach an energy card for turn. Would love to get an attachment over to Regidrago V, so all you need next turn is an energy switch plus attachment. You are good to go. And even has the grass energy in hand, he can guarantee the attachment.
Yeah, that's a nice thing to see there, along with the Squawkabilly drawing those additional resources. Might as well throw down the temple. No, no, no. Let's see 6 fresh cards.
Attachment to the Regidrago sets up nicely for the future. We do see the find of the Giratina V-Star, another Regidrago V, an Earthen Vessel, a way to get rid of the Giratina, and it looks like another Nest Ball here can find one more Tealmask Ogerpon EX.
Chip, I don't know if anyone can convince me that this is not the best way to set up. You're going first in this matchup. You have all your energies down, and you have 2 Regidrago V, multiple energy in play, and you're ready to attack right here. It looks terrifying.
Daniel is going to need some help, however, if he wants to get off a turn 2 meaningful attack, if he wants to get a Gust KO attack next turn. And that might be what these players have determined for this matchup. It's a little bit of a game of chicken. You know, who is going to take that first knockout? Hiding behind your Cleffa, forcing your opponent to find a Gust card.
Yeah, I mean, finding that prime catcher at the right time can be tricky. Using your resources and finding the boss's orders in order to take the big knockout is tough. We haven't actually gotten a look at the prize cards yet either, I don't believe, and that'd be a nice way to have a better understanding of where these players are at.
Miloslav's about to get into his first deck search here with this Ultra Ball. Nothing too bad. He does only play 2 basic fire energy, and one of those is in the prizes for Miloslav. Over on Daniel's side, it does look like that single copy of Superior Energy Retrieval, but other than that, there's nothing too bad in the prizes for either of these players.
Right, that one of the 2 bosses orders for Miloslav there as well. So something to consider when trying to target down some of these relevant attackers, the V Pokemon that you need to take prize cards on. I think both players would be pretty content if they got a look at those.
Ultra Ball discarding 2 cards from the hand. It will be a pair of Dragon-type Pokemon hitting the discard pile. Both the Haxorus and the Dragapult, great options. And now able to search out any other Pokemon, adding it to the hand. We could see a Regidrago V at some point. We could see the Tealmask Ogerpon EX try to accelerate some energy cards. Even a Squawkabilly could get into the mix.
Yeah, with this amount of Pokemon that we see in the hand already, it might be a big discard. I don't know if Squawkabilly is already in the hand, or at least it's going to be by way of that Nest Ball, but plenty of resources. It might be a true mirror match here, Chip. We're seeing everything.
And it is going to be a Nest Ball to find that Squawkabilly EX. And I think that is a pretty telling choice there from Miloslav. Off the Ultra Ball, he could get any Dragon Pokemon to discard here with the Squawk and Seize. He has 2 in the discard already with the Haxorus and that Dragapult, and he chose to go get that Hisuian Gudra V-Star.
Yeah, as opposed to going for that aggressive strategy with the Giratina, maybe this is the line. If you're the first player to lock in on rolling iron there in that spot, you can slow down your opponent, force them to have to use bosses and prime catchers, maybe not optimally, and then by losing those resources, you're feeling pretty strong.
There's the discard of the hand with Squawk and Seize. We will see 6 cards being drawn now for Miloslav. No energy cards found yet this turn. We still have Teal Dance to use. Attachment for turn. It looks like another Tealmask Ogerpon is able to be found. We still have the opportunity to play a supporter as well, let's not forget, and it looks like Iono was a grab.
Yeah, not bad at all. You have that additional energy that you can play onto the Tealmask Ogerpon and maybe find some help here. It's pretty wild that you haven't seen any more energies than this, especially given that the prize cards aren't that bad, and you have plenty ways to find energy cards.
I think we are going to see a situation here where the players' boards mirror one another. They both have the Cleffa, they both have 2 Regidrago V, they both have Squawkabilly. Miloslav only has 1 Tealmask Ogerpon, but there is a second in his hand.
Yeah, this isn't exactly the chess setup that you may have. We see the Regidrago in the middle there, as opposed to the Tealmask hanging out as the rooks.
It is going to be a true mirror match at this point. Both of these players going wide, filling up their benches. And one of the reasons they're doing that as well, interesting thing to note about their list, differing from so many of the other lists we've seen of Regidrago V-Star, there is no Fezandipity EX.
Yeah, choosing to forego that says I'm not going to be losing prize cards in spots like this. I'm going to get off to my own great advantage here, and sure enough, it looks to be fairly strong with that Iono to see more resources, definitely eyeing up energy cards in a spot like this.
Yeah, looking for Iono, looking for some energy cards here off that Iono, I should say, and is able to find at least a grass energy. Miloslav did choose to guarantee the attachment to the Regidrago V, which I do like a lot. And now Teal Dance will draw one more. There's that superior energy retrieval.
Yep, just a little bit out of order there. You'd love to see that Earthen Vessel first off, but thankfully does see that energy switch and feels comfortable moving that over to the other Regidrago V.
And as evident by Miloslav's hand, I did misspeak earlier. It is not one single superior energy retrieval for these players. They are each playing 2 superior energy retrieval for the tournament this weekend.
Yeah, it's a call that we don't see very often anymore. It was in the initial iteration that we saw of this list that really was focused on throwing energies around, kind of like Raging Bolt used to do, and it's going back to tried and true.
In order to burn a card to draw more with the Grasping Draw, Miloslav will retreat the Cleffa, switch directly back into it, and now it will be Grasping Draw, finding 3 cards from the top. Let's see what Daniel has to work with. And off of that Iono, he will probably have more options than he had.
I have to think that this ends with a pretty strong turn. There's multiple energy switch in the hand. You see the Earthen Vessel, fire and grass energy to go along with this. You're adding into those dragon Pokemon into the discard pile as well. Only piece I haven't seen yet is the Regidrago V-Star.
Is there a Haxorus already in the discard pile from turn 1?
I don't believe that we were that fortunate, but
or a
nice
Giratina V-Star maybe, yeah.
I know Miloslav got off to a really great start with all of the dragon Pokemon. Daniel's trying to catch up.
There is the Teal Dance drawing a card. Another energy switch. There is the Regidrago V-Star. If Daniel can find a Boss's Orders or Prime Catcher here, he's probably got the pieces that he needs. It is going to involve him using his Legacy Star V-Star power. He's actually going to choose to put the Fire Energy on the Regidrago that has no energy on it. That way he can keep one preserved on the other one. This makes a lot of sense. He's really debating here. I mean, the only question at this point is, are you using your Legacy Star?
I think the debate is this the turn to go for everything? You have triple energy switch right now, so you can set up both of your Regidrago V right now, and does not feel comfortable pulling the trigger, wants to draw some cards.
This is an opening now for Miloslav. Has an opportunity in order to take the first meaningful KO. It really is becoming a game of chicken. Neither of these players wants to take that first knockout on the Cleffa. They want to be the one who's gusting to KO a 2-prize Pokemon.
Daniel identified it very well, and he was rewarded for that. Finds Ultra Ball with the Haxorus and another Pokemon and an Earthen Vessel. So all of the Dragon Pokemon will be available so long as there is an Iono. And I think the hand for Miloslav was triple Professor Research.
Yeah, I do not see a Boss's Orders. I don't see a Regidrago V-Star. I do, however, see that Prime Catcher.
Pink card, pink card.
That Prime Catcher can be used to target down either the Regidrago V-Star or the Regidrago V with the 2 energy cards on it.
And so wisely, you saw the energy switch over to the Regidrago V instead of the V-Star, making sure that your opponent has to make a little bit more of a decision now instead of giving away all of those resources at once.
Yeah, that makes too much sense. Super heads-up play there from Daniel, knowing that it is possible for Miloslav to pop off here. And he's going to need a little bit of help off of an incoming research, but he is going to have the Prime Catcher. Is he going to pull the trigger? That is the only question. You can't wait forever, Kyle.
I know, and we've been thinking about it. You see the resources here in hand. You use this research. You might not see energy cards for the rest of the game unless you have to use your Legacy Star to search them back. It doesn't feel great.
It is going to be an Earthen Vessel to find 1 grass energy, maybe 1 more Teal Dance to guarantee another card draw before the research. See what else you have access to before you commit too much further. There's the Fire Energy in hand as well that can get the attachment for turn. All Miloslav really is missing is the Regidrago V-Star and the Energy Switch. Just 2 cards needed to get off that first attack. Here's the card from the Teal Dance. It's another grass energy.
It's another energy.
That's one of the worst cards I feel like Miloslav could have drawn here.
Especially holding on to that superior energy retrieval that you're likely going to lose this turn with the Professor's Research. Chip, do you play that pink card?
He's got. I can't see any other.
We don't have any more time.
We gotta go for it. We gotta bring it up one of these Pokemon on Daniel's side. And something to note. Remember, Miloslav chose to get rid of the Hisuian Gudra V-Star early in the game. He did not get rid of Giratina V-Star. So with this Prime Catcher, he cannot go after Regidrago V-Star on Daniel's side of the board.
Yeah, do you protect yourself by using the Rolling Iron, or do you maybe go for a play with that Haxorus and deal 230 damage to this Pokemon? Wants to play it very safe and brings up this Pokemon with a 1 retreat cost, and here goes so many precious resources.
There's the energy switch being found. Is there a Regidrago V-Star? I do believe we see an Ultra Ball that can get the attacking option ready to go. Night Stretcher found as well. That it can be a way to get some of these energy cards back in the future now that both Superior Energy Retrieval have hit the discard pile. And we are going to see that evolution. Regidrago V into Regidrago V-Star with just 1 energy switch away from seeing an attack.
Yep, this all worked out here. A lot of resources fell by the wayside, but still was able to hold on to the Legacy Star, which is the key piece here.
Taking a look at the discard pile, I would not expect to see a Legacy Star at this point. Yeah, this is feeling like such a high-level game, to be honest, Kyle. This is what you love to see at these international championships. These players fully aware of each other's list. They worked on this deck together, I'm sure. They came up with the 60, and they know well what each player is able to go for. Now, what attack are we going to see from Miloslav? It is indeed going to be that Rolling Iron. 200 damage, and then during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 80 less damage from attacks, protecting this Regidrago V-Star from a lost impact.
Yeah, it's great to see that you get to save this Pokemon from potentially being knocked out on the other side. We've seen so often it just turns into a trading war with the Giratina V-Star over and over again using lost impact. Now this Pokemon likely to stick around for future turns, and I think Daniel's going to take a page out of that book.
Daniel playing an Ultra Ball, discarding a couple of Pokemon, searching the deck for another Pokemon, adding it to the hand. It is indeed that Hisuian Gudra V-Star. We will see Earthen Vessel discard that Pokemon. Like you said, matching Miloslav's strategy. It's interesting, you know, we talked about it before game 1.
It's such a back and forth game. You have to think about all of the resources that have been used so far. When it turns into this kind of game, you're retreating over and you're trying to preserve those energy cards. You have to think Miloslav has lost so many of those that it'll be difficult to make the most use out of what you have left.
Now Daniel does have Prime Catcher in the hand, so he can get around this damaging attack. We're going to see one more Teal Dance. Attaching that energy, drawing another card. It's a pair of energy switch. We're going to see 2 of them being played. We're going to move these energies around on the board. Daniel thinking through what he wants to do here.
You can match with your own Regidrago V-Star, use Rolling Iron, deal 80 damage into your opponent.
He's got the Prime Catcher. We could see him go for a very similar play to what his opponent has chosen to do. We are going to see just that. Going into the Cleffa with the free retreat for now. There is just no way we are seeing a grasping draw at this stage in the game.
Yeah, I think we've seen enough cards at this point, and these 7 should be able to help out as well. Another Regidrago V-Star found. Plenty of ways to continue to attack, and this is the turn.
Flipping that V-Star marker, Legacy Star, 7 cards discarded from the top. And then Daniel can add any 2 cards from the entirety of his discard pile into his hand. What are the key pieces here Daniel is going to be looking to recover?
Well, you love Prime Catcher, but discarding 2 copies of Boss's Orders may be a little telling there. You have to take one of those back if you want to target down the right Pokemon in a matchup where you're just rolling iron back and forth.
So Daniel's setup, Another.
Oh my gosh,
the
he double prime catchered.
2 prime catchers bringing up this Regidrago V-Star, and lost impact from Daniel out of nowhere will KO Miloslav's only powered up attacker. Now Miloslav is going to be looking for the answer.
The fabric of reality, it's breaking in front of our eyes. He's used the one-of copy twice now, and it takes a huge knockout at this spot. This is a 3-card hand for Miloslav to find an answer. He does have a little bit of help there with the research, I believe, but what else can he make happen?
This is insane, Kyle. The plays we are seeing from these players, so strategic, so methodical, so well thought out. And now how can Miloslav respond? He's not used his Legacy Star.
Chip, he's used everything except
He's used
Legacy
everything
Star.
else.
What do you pick from these 2 cards that you have? You need 7 of them in order to make this happen, in order to take down this Regidrago V-Star along with the next one. You need so much help.
This 60-card mirror becoming a true battle of attrition. Each player asking more of their opponent turn after turn. Can you deal with the situation I am preparing myself for? So many different levels going into this matchup. These friends, these competitors, these testing partners working together, knowing each other's list exactly, has found us in this incredibly interesting spot. And Miloslav just doesn't have much. There's that Night Stretcher that can bring back the Regidrago V-Star, but he's already down 2 superior energy retrievals. He's going to be limited in ways to bring back energy cards.
Right, I feel like that might have to be one of the cards that you find with your Legacy Star at this point, which feels terrible. That's not why you play 2 copies of this card. You play it so that if you discard one, you'll still be fine.
Here is the Night Stretcher. Any energy card, basic energy card, or any Pokemon added from the discard pile into the hand. Miloslav did prize a fire this game. Is that fire still prized? That could be one of the main things that he is missing here. And that's what he's having to think through. Is that second fire energy still in the prizes?
Yep, highly values that here and needs to find an additional Regidrago V-Star. Maybe taking a bit of a risk here and trying to find that answer by way of an Iono.
Looks like we're having a bit of a discussion here at the table between our 2 players.
Talking about energy attachment for turn, perhaps, but I don't believe that's the case.
Yeah, he has not attached this energy. That was there last turn. Yeah, no energy has been attached just yet. Oh, and I think maybe what's happening was Miloslav maybe hoping to have not played the Night Stretcher. No, it does look like he will play it. Will be attaching the fire energy, and it is an Iono.
Yep, looking for some help here. Has 6 cards to see, and for Daniel, going down to just 4.
There's an energy switch. There's an Ultra Ball. That is a Regidrago V-Star.
It's finding the answers, but not with the additional pieces that you'd like to see.
And the problem here is, yes, Miloslav can get off the attack. He can go for the knockout on this active Regidrago V-Star, but Daniel has the response lined up.
Exactly. Then what? How do you come back from a spot like this? The only answer once more is Mew. And if that's what you're banking on at this point, you need to have so many energy switch to work with, and I'm not seeing any of them.
Miloslav searching the deck currently with the Ultra Ball, taking stock of exactly how many resources he has left available. More than enough time remaining in this top 4 match. And that's not a factor. He's going to take his time in this moment to ensure that he does not make a mistake, that he can find a path back into this game. And I think you might be right, Kyle. It may involve the Mew.
Well, if that's the case, this energy switch has to be used on this Pokemon, and then maybe you have to go for double energy switch, but you need the superior energy retrieval, it feels like. Do you bank on finding the energy switch out of the prizes?
And that might be what Miloslav is having to wait for here. Yes, indeed. No energy switch in the prizes in this game. It is that basic fire, though.
Okay, so that could be potentially some help here, especially after losing your only fire, or at least what it seems like it'll be when your opponent attacks right back next turn.
Wow. I mean, this is such a wild game, such a crazy situation here. And it's seeming like the player who chose to go second is not going to be able to pull off the strategy fully.
And Chip, this is a tough spot because you can't slow down in this case. You have to attack this turn. You have to put on some pressure. Your opponent showed you boss's orders. It's back in the deck. At least it was put back at the bottom by way of the Iono.
Here we
but
go.
Here it is.
That is the Legacy Star discarding 7 cards from the deck. One more.
There goes Mew.
There is the Giratina V-Star being discarded. I don't know if he's able to even attack with it. He may have to go for Rolling Iron. He may have to set up some plays in the future with Dragapult or something like that, some spreading of damage. One card being brought back for sure seems to be that Prime Catcher. One more card can be found from the Legacy Star. Looks like there's only 2 cards remaining in the deck.
Trying to find the answer here. I don't know if you can attack your way through this one, but you also don't have the resources to slow down here.
Prime Catcher is number 1, an Energy Switch maybe number 2. You're also getting to a point here, Kyle. Miloslav could lose to an Iono.
Yes, that is very likely the case. There's 6 total cards that we will see right now with the 2 cards in deck, 2 in hand, and 2 found from the Legacy Star. I don't know if Daniel envisioned winning like that, but that would be an absolute flex.
Miloslav will probably play some of these cards.
He'll probably take some prizes.
So he'll have less cards to draw off Iono, but I mean, you got to manage your resources super carefully in this type of situation. And it looks like the 2 cards brought back will be Superior Energy Retrieval and the Prime Catcher. What is Miloslav going to bring to the active spot? It will be the other Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. It will be Superior Energy Retrieval being played, bringing up to 4 basic energy cards from the discard pile back into the hand. 4 grass energy cards being added now.
And with this softening of the Teal Mask Ogerpon, likely an opportunity to use Rolling Iron once more. This has to mean that your Regidrago is safe this turn.
Kyle, he used Rolling Iron. Oh, he has 3 cards left in deck. 3 cards left in deck. We thought it was only 2. I thought he was about to lose to Iono. It was about to happen, but Miloslav has 7 cards remaining exactly. Iono would lead to him drawing all but 1 card left. And to be honest, I mean, that might be what Daniel is counting here. If Miloslav is down both of his Iono here,
right?
All Daniel has to do is play Iono, pass, and then next turn, Miloslav will draw his final card. He has no way to refill his deck.
Exactly. In any other matchup against Regidrago, you'd expect your opponent to have Super Rod to refill in a spot like this. They've decided to go the other way. They're using Superior Energy Retrieval. That's not going to be an option. If you count and see that those resources aren't there, the one of Night Stretcher already used, you cannot add cards back in.
Daniel's going to start off with a Teal Dance, drawing 1 card, attaching an energy card to the active Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. There is the Dragapult EX found in this position. Does not look like he has an Iono. And Miloslav is setting up for a 6 prize turn next turn, Kyle. He used Rolling Iron. He knows this Regidrago V-Star is safe. So if on his next turn, if he can Gust Squawkabilly EX, he can deal more than enough damage to knock that out with Dragapult, and then spread 10 damage apiece to each of the Teal Mask Ogerpon EX.
He's been trying to set this up. He had the Prime Catcher, but he had to use it to get to this spot.
Does he still have a boss's orders in the deck? If he's playing to this line, you have to think there is a chance that he's got it available. Daniel has his own boss's orders in hand. That might be one of the ways he needs to try to slow things down, but he knows his opponent just put 4 grass energy back in his hand. There's only Pokemon with 1 retreat on the bench, so stalling is just not going to be an option. He does indeed have an Iono, and it is going to be the attack.
Oh, man.
Does Miloslav have the boss's orders to close out the game and take a 6 prize turn? Teal Dance number 1, doesn't find it. Teal Dance number 2, and boss's orders is the grab. Brings up the Squawkabilly EX, and Dragapult EX's Phantom Dive will sweep the board. 6 prizes for Miloslav, and he moves on to the LAIC final match.
Wow, Chip, that is crazy to think about. Finding the 6 prize win. Both players identifying that that is a great way to close out this match. You have the Rolling Iron to save yourself, but the double Prime Catcher was used trying to avoid this. Miloslav holds on and uses every last resource there to get the job done.
What a game. What a setup there from Miloslav. The 6 prize turn. That is something that you dream of as a Pokemon player. Just getting rid of everything your opponent has all at once to clean up the game. Get yourself the win. And Miloslav does it on the game's biggest stage.
It's wild. I don't know if you could have convinced me that the cards were there to get the job done. But sure enough, with that superior energy retrieval to the exact amount of cards to avoid losing to an Iono, to having all of the energies you'd need to draw to the final card in your deck, which is that boss's orders, it all lined up there. And maybe they've unlocked the code to winning this matchup.
If you're Brent Tonneson and you're sitting in the crowd watching that game go down, you know you have to play Miloslav in the finals.
I was writing notes. Oh, don't let him do that one. The double prime catcher thing that we see from Daniel, don't let him do that either. Those are some great moves that we saw from these players. I mean, they had to let out all the tricks at this spot. This is the top 4 of Latin America International Championships, and you're going for it all.
Going for it all indeed. We have our final match etched at this point. It is going to be that Regidrago mirror match. There are differences in the players' lists and some things that are definitely going to come up. You know, the super rods from Brent Tonneson, the superior energy retrievals from Miloslav. How do those recovery cards play into the mix? You know, that Haxorus, that Hisuian Gudra V-Star from Miloslav. I mean, those are cards that can be massive when your opponent doesn't also play them.
Yeah, you have to think that it's going to be all about that rolling iron on the other side. When you have an opportunity to set up those knockouts, do you have to play a little bit differently? Can you play all of those Teal Mask Ogerpon, or can you play it a little slower like we saw both players with those Clefas? Let's take a look at how we got here.
How did we get here? Indeed, an incredible 3-game set for our 2 competitors. A true mirror match, traveling together from Czechia to this event, playing the same 60 cards, working together on the deck, and they find themselves playing each other in the top 4. And there really wasn't much of a story here in this game 1.
Yeah, I don't think we got to unlock any of the code here. It was a very quick one. Daniel was on the back foot early on in this match, and he felt the pressure, but it didn't stop him from going with the strategy. He wants to go second. He needs some time, and sure, he made a lot happen there in that game too.
What is so wild about this set as well, I mean, the same 60, these players know each other's decks, they know each other's play so well. You know, they had to navigate every different situation that threw itself at it, and not a single turn played out the same that entire set.
Exactly. The back and forth that we saw, it looked like we might have another quick one on our hands as we moved into game 3 because of how fast these decks were crumbling. But man, we had a great one lined up here to close out.
Daniel was able to strike first, took out the Regidrago V-Star, the crazy double prime catcher play with use of that V-Star power. Left Miloslav in kind of an interesting position, but I think from very early in this game, Miloslav identified how he was going to win this.
He was lining up this play all along. It